This conference will
and we
now
had
be
taken
recorded.
on the last session regarding connectors, we had taken a very thorough research and study, and we had tried to lay out a basis on which the connectors and OET relevance is formed. We would carry forward that session in today's session also, and we would discuss furthermore a few more connectors that are frequently used in the OET examinations. Now, on the last session, I had told you that connectors are words that connect words, phrases, or clauses. And similarly, on the last turn, I also told you as to and clauses are. Amongst phrases and clauses, I also told you as to what independent clauses are and what dependent clauses are. If any of you had missed my last class, you can visit it on the YouTube channel of Teach You Academy, and an understanding, in fact, a detailed understanding of phrases and clauses is very necessary whenever it comes to OET writing, speaking, listening, and reading. And whenever we have to use connectors in OET writing, an understanding of phrases and clauses is required urgently and necessarily. So the definition of connectors, it relies completely upon the understanding and knowledge of phrases and clauses. So I told you that some very frequently used connectors are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These are 7 most frequently used connectors in OET writing. And why OET writing? Rather, in everyday writing. These 7 connectors form the basis of any writing, any piece of writing. And we learned these connectors via trick, calling them as fanboys. And I also told you that any person in this world can use fanboys. But what one cannot do is that one is unable to understand as to what punctuation marks should be used with fanboys. So I told you that anyone can use fanboys. Now, what are these fanboys? These fanboys are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So I told you that anyone can use fanboys, but how to use punctuation marks is a little bit tricky. And for this, I gave you a mantra called as Manut's mantra, which goes on like this: that if you have 2 independent clauses, put a comma before fanboys. If you have a dependent clause followed by an independent clause, then also put a comma before fanboys. And if you have an independent clause and a dependent clause, that is ID, put no comma in between. This was a trick that I gave you, that I put a comma between, DI put a comma between. But in ID, that is identity, I gave you a trick. This is a tricky word. In identity, you place no comma before fanboys. It seems somewhat like this: if there is an independent clause and fanboys, put a comma. If there is a dependent clause and an independent clause, put fanboys. And if there is an independent clause and a dependent clause, and the fanboys is coming in between, there should be no comma over here. Again, I'm repeating: independent clause, and there is fanboys in between. What you have to do is that place a comma. Secondly, if you have a dependent clause and an independent clause which are connected by fanboys, put a comma. If there is an independent clause and a dependent clause and they both are connected by fanboys, there should be no comma. This is what we call as Manut's mantra, that you will get nowhere else. And it's a trick. And through this trick, you would be able to achieve maximum marks in OET writing. There would be no loophole wherein you would be losing your marks. Now let us learn a few more connectors that are very significant during OET. There are few more connectors that are very, very important, and the person who is examining your letter is actually looking for these connectors. So we have to thoroughly learn other connectors also apart from fanboys in order to achieve the maximum marks in OET writing section and passing it, because OET writing is one section wherein most of the students are scared of. Most of the students usually fail OET writing. Why? Only because of the lack of knowledge of connectors and several other things that we have already taken in our sessions on Teach You Academy's platform, and in sessions that we would be taking further. So other connectors that one should use in OET writing are although, therefore, subsequently, consequently, which resulted in, for which, because of, in order to, followed by, following. Please go through these connectors once again in your heart. Although, therefore, subsequently, consequently, which resulted in, for which, because of, in order to, followed by, following. So these connectors, these 10 connectors should be, and in fact must be used while OET writing. And you should be able to know as to where to use which connector. Now it is very difficult to learn these connectors. You often forget as to which connector to use and which connector to avoid. So again, Manuj has come up with a new mantra so that you would be able to learn these connectors. Now I'm going to show you something on your screens. What is this? Once again, in a session taken previously, I showed you this. What is this? This car or a cab moving very, very swiftly. This car is moving in a very high speed. Very high speed. So, what is it? It is a swift cab. Once again, please see on your screens. This is a car, rather we can say this is a cab that carries passengers. This is a cab which is in a very high speed. This cab is moving very swiftly. So we said that this is a swift cab. And since this cab is in such a high speed that we used 3 F's here. Swift cab. A swift cab. Now what is this swift cab? This is a mnemonic through which we will be able to learn our connectors. These were our connectors, and we would be able to learn these connectors by a very little trick. This running car, this swift cab, and here it goes how it is. As for subsequently, W for which resulted in, I for in order to, F for which, the second F followed by, the third F following, T for therefore, swift, C for consequently, A for although, and B for because of. So these are the 10 connectors that must be used while OET writing, and we often fail to learn these connectors by heart. We often fail to remember as to which connectors to use and which ones to avoid. So I gave you a very short trick. And these were our connectors. This was the image that must go inside your brains. A cab running at a very high speed, a swift cab. This was a swift cab, a cab moving in a very high speed. And it was in such a high speed that we used 3 F's, and each of the letters of swift cab stands for our connectors. And this is how it is. You can write it down somewhere on your notebooks. Swift cab. S for subsequently, which resulted in order to, for which, followed by, following, therefore, consequently, although, because of. And now we will learn the usage of these connectors one by one thoroughly. So I hope you all are ready and focused to learn these connectors. Please tighten up your seat belts as we proceed ahead. So first of all, let's learn the usage of subsequently. Now, what is this subsequently? Subsequently is used after a particular thing has happened. When a particular thing has already happened and we have another statement to make, what we do is that we use the word subsequently. And how do we do it? Afterwards or later. We do it somewhat like this. You have a case note in front of you. He realized he had hurt her feelings. He apologized. So can any one of you join this sentence by using the connector subsequently and write the answer in the chat window? Please write your answer in the chat window. Roshni, very nice. Binsi, very nice. Rania, very nice. And all of you are correct. This is how it goes. Aishwarya, Karis, very nice. Aishwarya, Karis, Rania, Binsi, everyone very nice. And this is how our sentence goes on. Now here what we will do is that we will place a semicolon before subsequently. We will place a semicolon before subsequently, and we will also place a comma over here. He realized he had hurt her feelings, semicolon, subsequently, comma, he apologized. This is the correct way of writing a connector. Writing only the connector is not important. You write the connector only is not important. Only the usage of connector is not important. What is important is how you use that connector. How you use this connector. This means that how do you put the punctuation marks while using the connectors? That is important, that is necessary. And this is what you have come here to learn. Let us look at another example. Mrs. Jones suffered an attack of cerebral palsy, needed hospital admission for intravenous antibiotics. So how will we write this sentence? We'll write this sentence somewhat like this. Please be focused at your screens. Mrs. Jones suffered an attack of cerebral palsy, full stop, subsequently, she needed a hospital admission for IV antibiotics. Now, I want to show something to all of you. What you can do is that you can use a semicolon, connector, comma. Or what you can also do is full stop, connector, and comma. This is also what you can do. So these are two forms of writing a connector. Now again, I'm telling you that anyone can use fanboys, anyone can use Swift cab. What one can't do is the usage of punctuation marks. Anyone can use and, but, of, nor, or. Anyone can use subsequently, which resulted in, because of, followed by, following. What you can't do is you do not know where to use punctuation marks properly. So this is the way of writing Swift Cap. This is the case of Swift Cap. And this was the case of fanboys. Again, I'm repeating, doctors and nurses out there, please be very focused regarding this. This is how fanboys is written. This is how fanboys is written. This is how commas should be used. Please write this down into your notebooks. Please write this down in your notebooks. And this is how fanboys is written, and this is how Swift Cab is written. This is how Swift Cab is written. So you can see here in both our examples, what we have basically done is in our first example, we have made use of semicolon, whereas in our second example, we have made use of a full stop. So this is how Swift Cap is used here. The third sentence. General retired to his study, interrupted by a knock at the door. The general had retired to his study, but was subsequently interrupted by a knock at the door. Here we have used no comma. Here we will place no comma, but we will place a comma regarding the DI rule, before but. And why have we placed but here? We have placed but here because the general had retired to his study is independent clause, and subsequently interrupted by a knock at the door is dependent clause. And we have independent clause, dependent clause, that is ID. And I told you that in ID there should be no comma. Please be very focused here. Please be very focused here. Nobody is ever going to tell you these things. If you have a problem, please, you can unmute yourself and ask me. This is your chance. This is your time. This is your opportunity to ask, to clarify your doubts. You can clarify your doubts over here, or else this opportunity would never arrive. So if any one of you is having a doubt or a question over here, please unmute yourself and you can ask the question. I'm giving you 15 seconds.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Benny.
Okay. I thought we were working basically on Swift Cap, but I figured you used fanboy for the last statement.
What we have done in the last statement is that we have used fanboys also, and we have used Swift Cab also. Now here two connectors has been used, and what beauty this sentence has is that there are two connectors and anybody can use any number of connectors. What one cannot do is that one does not know how to use punctuation marks with connectors. This is the beauty of the sentence.
Okay, then I want to ask that where we use the full stop for the cerebral palsy, that's the second sentence, can we also, will the semicolon apply there too? As in, can a semicolon apply there?
Yes, this is how you can do it. I'm showing everybody, please be focused. I'm showing you how it is done. Subsequently, this is how we can do it.
Okay, thank you.
And we can remove semicolon, we can place a full stop. Both ways we can write it.
Okay.
Okay, any other question, guys?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Vanita. Somebody please ask some other question also. Faisal, in the last question, there should be no comma after subsequently because this is a running sentence. This is a running sentence. We haven't used subsequently immediately. This is a running sentence. Okay, now I want to ask one of you. That why haven't we placed a comma in the third sentence anywhere? Why haven't we placed a comma in the last sentence anywhere? Any one of you reply to me.
Sir, you said that when we have an ID, independent clause coming before the dependent clause, we don't use a comma. Then more so, with respect to the first two sentences, I noticed that the Swift cab is coming immediately after the first sentence, but it didn't come immediately after the first sentence for the very last. There is a fanboys and it was before subsequently.
Yes. Very nice, Vanita. God bless you. In the third sentence, first of all, this is the running sentence. Subsequently hasn't come abruptly. Thirdly, Benita was very correct while telling us that whenever we have ID, now what is this ID? Independent clause and a dependent clause. Whenever we have an ID, independent clause and dependent clause, we place no comma in between. The general had retired to his study. This is an independent clause. You do not need any other information, but was subsequently interrupted by a knock at the door. This is a dependent clause. So we have independent clause and dependent clause, and whenever there is ID, we place no comma before fanboys. So this is why in the third sentence, this third sentence is a very special sentence. This third sentence is a very special sentence. We haven't placed a comma anywhere over here. Okay, so this is how we can write a connector. I told you. Now this is a case note example in front of you. I want you to give example. Mr. Ben, 2 months old, meningitis, nervous breakdown, 5 years old. Can you paraphrase
Hello,
this
good
case
morning.
note? Good morning.
Hello, good
Odean.
morning. Mr. Manoj,
You want to say
please,
something?
good morning. Yes, I'd like to ask a question. I want you to come again when you are talking about the general. When you are talking about the but was subsequently, then you know there was no comma. So I want you to come again with the explanation. Thank you. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, ODL. I can hear you, but I'm unable to understand your question. Can you repeat your question?
Yes. You know, you just explained concerning the general retired to is studied, then interrupted by. Then when you were giving the example, putting in the connectors, you know, you put in that the general had retired to his study, but no comma, no semicolon was subsequently interrupted by. So I want you to explain that area again. Thank you. Can you hear me?
You want to know why we haven't used semicolon or comma over here. This is what your question is.
Yes. The fanboys and the Swift cap, the but and the subsequently.
Yeah. See, the answer to this question goes to our last session. In our last session, I told you one thing. Please be very focused here.
Okay.
In our last, what we did when we learned fanboys, this was our fanboys. Please see. I told you that anyone can use fanboys, but what one can do is use punctuation marks with it. So I gave you a mantra for this. The Manuj's mantra was,
Yes.
whenever you have an independent clause, place a comma in between. Whenever you have a dependent clause and an independent clause, put a comma in between. But whenever you have ID, that is an independent clause and a dependent clause, do not use a comma in between.
Yes.
Okay, this is clear to everyone. Now let us come to
Okay.
this general.
Oh,
Let us come to this example.
yes.
In this example, what we have done is,
Yes.
the general had retired to his study, but was subsequently interrupted by a knock at the door. Now, the first thing is, let me use a new screen so that you are able to understand it properly. Okay, please be very focused, everyone. So, general retired to his study, interrupted by a knock at the door. Now look over, everybody, please look here. I am writing this sentence somewhat like this. The general had retired to his study, comma, but was subsequently interrupted by a knock at the door. But was, semicolon, subsequently, comma. Okay, I'm writing this sentence somewhat like this, as you can see on your screens. Now, what I have written, verbally it's correct, but the usage of punctuation marks is absolutely wrong here. The usage of punctuation marks is completely null and void and very, very stupid over here. Why will we not use a comma before fanboys here? Now we have used a fanboys here. Our fanboys are for and but and so, and we have used but over here. Now see, we will not place a comma before this but. Why? Because this sentence is of the form of ID. This sentence is of the form of ID. And I told you that whenever we have ID, we do not place a comma in between. Now, why is this sentence in the form of ID? This sentence is in the form of ID because the general had retired to his study. This is the first clause, and this is independent clause. This is I. Please be very focused here. This sentence is I. And subsequently interrupted by a knock at the door. This sentence is D. This sentence is D. Now, the general had retired to his study is independent sentence. You do not need any information for this. Suppose I say to you that the general had retired to his study. This is a complete sentence, independent clause. It does not require any other sentence to complete itself. But suppose I say, interrupted by a knock at the door. Who interrupted? What interrupted? Whom it interrupted? When it interrupted? This is an incomplete clause. Incomplete clause. This is a dependent clause. You require information to complete it. So this sentence is of the form of ID. And the Manuj's mantra says, what does Manuj's mantra says? Manuj's mantra says that D comma I comma I, but ID no comma. ID no comma. So what we will do here is that we will place no comma before but. Now comes subsequently. Now subsequently is in the running form. So again we will use no comma or semicolon over here. I hope everybody is able to understand now. If everybody has understood, please write Y in your chat windows. And if somebody has a problem, please let us know so that we will be able to clarify. Only one person asks, and everybody else understands. So brave is the one who asks. If all of you have understood, please write Y in your chat windows, or else I will think that you haven't got it. Odial, very nice. Ikra, Sumit, Lissy, Shreyosi, Faisal, Yash, Benita, all of you very nice. It's good that all of you understood. What about others? I don't know about others. Sumit, very nice, okay. So what we have done is swift cap. We have in our third sentence, what we did is that we made use of both connectors. We made use of fanboys as well as swift cap over here. But the beauty of the third sentence was upon the punctuation marks only. So this is what I told you regarding it. This is how swift cap can be used. Okay, now this is an example in front of you. Please expand this case note. Paraphrase this case note in your chat windows, every one of you. Using connectors. Using connectors. Can you write the answer? Can you expand this case note? Why am I having no answers yet? Are you not able to expand this case note into a paragraph? Is there some problem using connectors? If you are having problems, subscribe to Teach You Academy. I have got no answers yet. So should I give you the answer? This is how the answer looks like. Mr. Ben suffered meningitis at the age of 2 months. Full stop. Subsequently, he experienced a nervous breakdown when he was 5 years old. Okay, SD, your answer is also correct. Of course, Sumit, you can avoid the word suffer and you can write Mr. Ben underwent. You can use underwent. See, SD, if you use diagnosed, it means that being diagnosed and having suffered, these both are different things. Had an episode of meningitis is also correct, Aishwarya. Here we can request Dr. Bhavna to throw some light upon whether the usage of suffer is correct or not, because up to as far as my knowledge goes, we can use suffer in quite a few statements. Diagnosed is a bit different. Diagnosed means that a doctor came to know about the disease. But when we say suffer, this means that the patient who underwent or had a history of, or as Aishwarya and Faisal said, that he had had an episode of meningitis.
Hi, Mr. Manoj. Thanks for the question. Guys, one thing is that we did discuss this before as well. When someone has a life-threatening diagnosis, like cancer, then suffered is fine because you won't be able to really treat it. It's just something from the official OET guidelines that they tell us to avoid suffered as far as possible. But when you come and work in day-to-day life, we do use suffered from an attack of meningitis. One thing is that I just wanted to quickly mention is that the M shouldn't be capital in meningitis because it is a common disease. Only diseases which are named by the person who discovered them or after the city where they were discovered are going to have capital letters in them. Some of these include Alzheimer's, always has to be a capital. Any of the complicated diseases named after the person who discovered them, like Pompeii's disease, are also going to start with a capital letter. Zen has just asked, I just wanted to quickly interrupt. Zen, meningitis is an attack which you have and then it sort of resolves. You cannot have meningitis and then keep suffering from meningitis since you were 2 months old, because it's like a disease, it's like an upper respiratory tract infection that you get once and then it resolves itself. So since he was 2 months old won't be right. Thank you, Mr. Manoj.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bhavna, for throwing light upon the usage of the word suffer and also giving us knowledge regarding the usage of the writing the name of diseases in capitals or in small letters. Thank you very much. And this is what Teachio Academy is made of, for medicos, by medicos, and English masterclass experts. So I hope every one of you have understood that we can use the word suffer, although it is usually said that we should avoid the word suffer. But here, diagnosed, diagnose and suffering, both are two very different words that go in very two different directions. You have to understand this. Suffering and diagnosis, both are different words, both have different feelings, both have different experiences. So of course, as many of you have given us examples, like Faisal said that had a history of meningitis. Also Aishwarya told us that he had had an episode of meningitis. So that's fine. But the sentence that appears on your screen is also as far and good, very correct to be used over here. And this is how we have connected both the fragments of this case note by using a connector, which is subsequently over here. And what matters is how to use subsequently along with the punctuation marks. Let us see one more connector, which resulted in. Now, which resulted in is used to describe an effect of something that has previously happened. So Let us see over here. Okay, for the last one also, Benita has said that Mr. Ben was treated for meningitis at 2 months old. So Benita, where has it written that he was treated? How do you know he was treated? You do not know whether Mr. Ben was treated or not. But Mr. Ben had meningitis when he was 2 months old. This is what I'm telling you. How do you know that Mr. Ben went to the doctor? How do you know that Mr. Ben was diagnosed with meningitis when he was 2 months old? You do not know as to what exactly happened. You only know as to what is being given to you. So you cannot run in all directions over there. You have to be very precise and clear regarding your case note. This is what your OET examiner is basically checking. Why are you running here and there? Most of the students have written why not suffered. We will write diagnosis. We would write had an episode of, and blah blah blah. So why are you throwing your efforts and endeavors in wrong directions? Mr. Ben suffered meningitis when he was 2 months old. That's fine and perfect. That's fine and perfect. He also suffered nervous breakdown when he was 5 years old, or he experienced. You cannot say he was diagnosed. How do you know he was diagnosed? How do you know he was treated? How do you know he went to a doctor? How do you know he was given medications for that? How do you know? You do not know. You know only as much as is given to you in the case note. So we often, what we do is that we run in wrong directions and we throw our arrows in the dark. This is what we usually do. And this is what we are here to correct you. Okay, so which resulted in, I told you that it is used to imply an effect of something that has previously happened with a next clause, and we connect both the clauses with which resulted in. So this is a case note again in front of you. Can you connect this case note using connectors? Please write the answers in your chat window. Miss Briggs, 9 months, learning to talk, Pompe disease, loss of sight, hearing. Now, one thing I want to make clear to all of you, as Dr. Bhavna told us that the name of the diseases which are named after people or are very rare, they are written in capital, like the Pompe disease. But meningitis was a common disease. It is just one episode that occurs with somebody. So we wrote it in the small letters. And we are writing Pompe disease in capitals because it is named after a person or a place or an incident. So this is how it is written. And please expand this case note into a paragraph. Please paraphrase it. So Vinci has given us an answer. Yes, Vinci, this is also correct. Very nice, Vinci. Your answer is also correct. How about this case note that is on your screens? Please write your answers in the chat window. We want you to practice over here so that you are able to qualify your OET exam at the right spot and the right time. This is where you'll practice. Guys, I'm waiting for answers. Please be a bit fast. We are already running out of time. So please be fast. Give your answers over here. Until now, we have discussed only 2 connectors out of the Swift cab, that is subsequently, and which resulted in. Okay, Faisal has come up with an answer. Miss Briggs. Very nice, Faisal. Your answer is very correct. but it requires a little polishing over here. What you can do is that Miss Briggs was diagnosed with Pompe disease. You have to use with over here at the age of 9 months, semicolon, which resulted in loss of sight and hearing, which resulted in loss. There should be no comma in between in and loss. This is how our answer goes. Miss Briggs was stricken down by Pompe disease. Now, this is another word that you can use if you want to avoid suffer. Was stricken down by Pompe disease. In your case, Faisal, diagnosed with Pompe disease. Stricken down by Pompe disease, which resulted in her loss of sight and hearing at the age of 9 months while she was learning to talk. So what we have done is here that we haven't left anything. We have made use of everything, and we have maintained proper usage of punctuation marks here. We will not use a punctuation mark with which resulted in, because resulted in is in a running form. It is a running sentence. It is not just a direct connector. It is not just a direct connector. So this is how the correct usage of which resulted in is, and this is how you can transform your case note in another beautiful full form. As some of you told me that we want to avoid the word suffer. So if you want to avoid the word suffer, then you have to come up with other words also, like stricken down. Okay, Rania has come up with an answer. Miss Briggs was diagnosed with Pompe disease at 9 months old, full stop. Subsequently, he suffered from loss of sight and hearing. Very nice, Rania. Your answer is also very correct. But I think that Miss Briggs is a female, and we do not use a he with females. So correct it with using by she over here. Ikra. Ikra says, Mr. Briggs was diagnosed with Pompe disease. Pompe should be in capital Ikra, with Pompe disease at the age of 9 months, which resulted in loss of hearing and sight loss. Which resulted in loss of hearing and sight. You cannot use the word loss again and again. Which resulted in the loss of hearing and sight. Now, Peace has also given us an answer. Miss Briggs at 9 months old had Pompe disease, which resulted to loss of sight and hearing, not loss of sight and hearing. Yash Tanwani, at the age of 9 months, Miss Briggs was diagnosed with Pompe disease. Now, Pompe should be in capital Yash, which resulted in her loss of sight and hearing while she was learning to talk. Yes, this is also correct, but the answer that is on your screens is in the most perfect form. Please write these things somewhere in your notebooks so that you're able to write properly in your OET examinations. I hope everybody of you have understood the proper usage of connectors and how to paraphrase these little case notes. Now you have again one more case note in front of your screens. Please paraphrase it. Please paraphrase it. She has had recurrent pneumonias, multiple hospital admissions. Can any one of you paraphrase this? Benita, you can avoid some of the case note. This is also told when we are taught writing OET letters, that useless information should be avoided. Useless information should be avoided. You can avoid. But you have to understand as to which information to avoid. Suppose in our last sentence we had Miss Briggs was 9 months learning to talk. Maybe it may happen that in the next case note there was something regarding learning to talk. Suppose the patient has lost sight and ability to hear. Now, if somebody loses the ability to hear and the person has not yet known how to talk, so the person can never talk. If somebody has lost his or her ability to hear and the person has not yet learned how to talk, then that person can never learn. Suppose a patient loses his or her ability of hearing when the patient is 9 months old. So that patient can never learn to talk. So here learning to talk was very necessary. Learning to talk was necessary because here our patient cannot speak even when she is the age of 50 years. Even when she is of the age 50 years, she cannot talk because she is unable to hear any words. So is it fine, Benita? Yes, Karis, your answer is very correct. Navjot, your answer is also very correct. Rania, your answer is also very nice. Rania, in your answer, we will use she had had multiple hospital admissions. For this, you can visit our video on the usage of has had, have had, and has had in our last sessions that we have taken on the YouTube channel of Teach You Academy. See, each of our session is very important. Each of the sessions conducted at Teach You Academy is very, very important. You cannot afford to lose or miss even one of the sessions. Each one is used. And this is how, Sumit Faisal, your answer is also correct. Yes, Sumit's answer was very much correct. And this is how we will write our answer. She has had recurrent pneumonias, which resulted in multiple hospital admissions. Which resulted in multiple hospital admissions. This is what our answer looks like. So, in today's session, we learned that there are two types of connectors. There are two types of connectors. The first one being fanboys, and with fanboys, punctuation marks are very important to be used. And this is how what the Manuj's mantra says regarding the usage of punctuation marks, that is comma with fanboys. Again, we learned some other connectors through a trick with Swift cap, a mnemonic that we gave. And today we discussed two out of these connectors, that is subsequently, and we also used which resulted in. Now the difference between subsequently and which resulted in is that subsequently is a quick and interrupting connector. Subsequently is an interrupting connector, whereas which resulted in is in a running connector. So in running connectors, punctuation marks may or may not be used, but with abrupt connectors, that is the connectors that immediately come, like subsequently. Therefore, we use punctuation marks. And how we use punctuation marks? We use punctuation marks somewhat like this. Like this. So, we took two connectors out of SwiftCab in today's session. The rest of the connectors we will take in our next session. Please go through each of the sessions. May it be regarding has had, have had, connectors part 1 and today's session also. So that when we come up with our next session on next Sunday, you are fully equipped with the knowledge of connectors and punctuation marks. This is all about today's session. I hope you enjoyed the session and you learned, and you are taking with you a lot of information and knowledge regarding connectors and punctuations. This is what we do in our sessions in Teach You Academy. We go through a number of things and we make a very fathom research so that we equip you with the best of the knowledge. Thank you very much. Rest up to the organizers of Teach You Academy. Here I take a leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj. Very, very helpful session on grammar, like always. I was just looking at the last answers that people have done, Mariam, Binti, and Peace. Guys, please check the spelling of recurrent and recurrence. Lots of people do misspell that a lot. piece. It's not reoccurrence. This was discussed yesterday as well. It's recurrence, so there's no need to insert an O there. We did a session yesterday which talked about how we write histories on OET writing. So once you've had this session, I would suggest that you go back to the previous session which happened yesterday and just try to correlate his writing about histories with the connectors that Mr. Manoj has so kindly taught us about today. Well, I hope you guys had fun today, and I hoped you learned something new. If you are interested, Teacher Academy does offer writing and speaking checks, which are ongoing. If you have your exam coming up quite soon, I would strongly suggest that you enroll in our writing check program. So depending upon what your level of English is, we send you a letter which is customized to your requirement. And depend if you opt for a bulk writing check, Rania, so one, if you just opt for one, so we suggest that if you just want to know your level of English and how much time you would require for your letter checking or for your letter preparation, you can use one writing check, which is 6.99 British pound. And if you want to opt for a bulk writing check, which if you have your exam coming up quite soon, it might be quite useful. It's 29.99 British pound. You can check all of the rates on our website, www.teacheracademy.com. With the bulk writing check, you do get the advantage that each time you have a writing check, we give you a study plan after your feedback. And then if you follow that, your next letter is of a level which you would require. So if you've got if we think that you need to show some improvement, it will be at the same level. If we think that you're doing well and you can improve further, then your writing check goes up in level. So it's customized to your requirement. Roshni, it's 29 British pound. If you go to our website, you should be able to find the rates for the single and multiple writing checks. We also offer a speaking mock test, which is basically conducted in front of a person who's the same profession as you. So the person who will be your interlocutor, if you are a nurse, they will be a nurse. If you're a doctor, they will be a doctor, just to guide you through the speaking mock. Once we've recorded your speaking mock session, we then send it to an English teacher for analysis of your grammar and your language. So the feedback that you get on both of our writing check as well as speaking check is customized, and it is done by a medical professional as well as an English teacher, so that the feedback that you get is quite applicable to your OET, and then we can give you suggestions as to how you can improve. So do check out our website if you are interested in it. We will keep offering free speaking, writing, reading, and listening webinars over the weekends. So make sure that if you are interested in them, I would suggest that you do keep an eye on our WhatsApp groups. Binsi, if you go to our YouTube channel, it's by the name of www.teacheracademy.com, which has videos on it on the website. But if you go to our YouTube channel and you search for Teacher Academy, you should be able to find lectures on reading. And I've tried to break it down into various subsections on reading, as in part A, part B, part C, and how you can score well on each. So that was it, guys, for today's session. Mr. Manoj, thank you so much for helping us understand a little bit more of grammar and the intricacies of grammar. And I hope you guys are keeping safe, and just keep studying, keep the enthusiasm up. And I hope to see you guys in the NHS very, very soon. Good luck.